On this episode of the podcast, we take a look at the movie Halloween, written and directed by David Gordon Green and Danny McBride, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Judy Greer, Andi Matichak, Nick Castle, and Will Patton. Welcome to He Said, She Said Movie Reviews. This is the podcast where a happily married couple with similar but different movie tastes take a quick look at the movies, helping you make the right decision before your next movie. I'm your host, Tim.
And I'm April.
Was Halloween worth a 40-year wait? We'll tell you all about it right after these two spooky trailers.
All right, the first one was Escape Room. 6 strangers find themselves in circumstances beyond their control and must use their wits to survive. It's with Tyler Labine and Taylor Russell.
Yeah, I'm not too jazzed about this one. It just looks to me like another Saw movie, but it just moved out of the Saw environment into one of these new escape rooms that are popping up all over the place. Yes, they're remaking Pet Sematary from Stephen King. This is Louis Creed and his wife Rachel and their 2 children, Gage and Ellie, move to a rural home where they are welcomed and enlightened about the eerie pet cemetery located near their home. After a tragedy, their cat being killed by a truck, Louis resorts to burying him in the mysterious pet cemetery, which is definitely not as it seems. This is starring Jason Clarke, Amy Seimetz, and John Lithgow. Wow. This looks really scary.
Yes, it does.
Modern special effects added to Pet Sematary. Don't know if we'll see this one. Might be too scary. All right, so Halloween. Jamie Lee Curtis comes back 40 years later as Laurie Strode. This was directed by David Gordon Green, and it was written by David Gordon Green, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. I don't know if I would have seen the movie if I'd known this. Danny McBride. Not that I don't like Danny McBride, but he's a comedian. And, but man, I thought they did a great job with this movie.
Yep. I think that Halloween was a good movie. I thought the plot started off great. I wish it had stayed that way towards the end. That's my only concern about this movie. But Jamie Lee Curtis was amazing. She was believable. And it was, you know, there are moments it was definitely scary.
Yeah, it was good and scary, but it wasn't, you know, what I enjoyed a lot about this is it wasn't gory. They didn't use a whole lot of gore in the movie. They used more suspense. Yes, there was murders in it. Yes, there was blood. Yes, there was knives going through things. But there wasn't gore for the sake of just having gore in the movie.
Right.
I thought that it was a pretty decent cast. Once again, Jamie Lee Curtis, Judy Greer, Andi Matichak, James, and 2 people played. This was the interesting thing. 2 people played what they call in the shape, but that's Michael Myers. New person, James, Jude, Courtney, but they also brought back Nick Castle to do some of the scenes. And
that was interesting.
If you're a Halloween fan, you know that Nick Castle was the original Mike Myers.
But we can't forget that Will Patton was Officer Hawkins.
Yeah, Will Patton was in this, and I've always been a big Will Patton fan, so.
And something else April was enjoyed very much, the runtime of the movie was 106 minutes. It was delightful.
Yes, it was not a long one. Interesting, you know, I was trying to put what kind of theme this movie had, and I think this is one of those where it's kind of like Face Your Fate type of movie.
Yeah.
I thought, once again, the acting was really good. It was, all the supporting actors really added to the story. There was a couple, and I'm sorry, I don't know the name of the 2 actors who played the 2, but it was funny because the opening scene had a couple podcasters in it, which I thought was pretty funny. And I believe they were a husband and wife team. So
actually, yes.
And I hope we don't have the same fate they do. So.
And I thought the cast did a great job. There were some little kids that did good. There were, you know, there was only a few people that were cast in that of the younger generation that maybe they could have done a better job, but I thought the rest of the cast was great.
Yeah, I thought the girl, Andi Matichak, or however you pronounce her last name, who played Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter, I thought she did a really good job. I was impressed with her. Another thing I really liked about the movie too was the score. I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, they brought back the original Halloween theme song with a little bit of a modern twist to it.
And it kept the mood. It was fantastic.
And I really enjoyed the cinematography in the movie too. Being a movie shot at night, you could see what was going on. I hate movies that are shot at night that you can't see what's going on. All you hear is noise. No problem there with this movie. One of the things, special effects too, that I personally enjoyed was in the opening credits, they did a reverse time lapse of a pumpkin instead of a jack-o'-lantern. Instead of rotting, it came back from rotting to a full jack-o'-lantern. For some reason, I thought that was really cool. And I think it really started the movie with a good tone.
Yeah, I like that too. I've never seen anything like that. So I thought that was great. And I agree with the cinematography. There was just like that scene in the mental hospital courtyard.
Oh yeah, I thought that was cool with the black and white checkered tile throughout the courtyard. That was a neat scene.
It really was, and I thought the editing was fine. What do you want to say about the pace, Tim? I know it stayed moving.
Yeah, I thought the pace it stayed moving the whole time. There was not a slow part to this movie, and with that short running length, you can't really have a slow pace into this movie.
Right.
So
I'm a huge Halloween fan. I was at the first one. And I still to this day consider it to be one of the greatest horror movies. And I've seen a lot of them after the first. This one, I think, was probably the best one in the series. I mean, nothing's going to be better than the first Halloween, but I think out of all of them, this was the best one. I just wish they would have stayed. They took a turn with the plot towards the end I didn't care for, but all in all, I thought it was scary. It was, it was entertaining. It was.
Yeah. I mean, what do you go to a horror movie for? There's two things you go to a horror movie for. to get scared and to be entertained, right?
Right.
And I think, they had some silly things in the plot.
But not her. Her character was so strong, and apparently it broke box office records. A female lead over 55, and I believe the Halloween movie, Tim, didn't it gross? Wasn't it one of the highest grossing?
Yeah, I believe it is. It's set records for horror movies, so.
Yeah, and she must have worked out. I mean, ladies, this woman was in shape. She was focused. There's no way you're going to see this and think, maybe I should do a self-defense course.
Jamie Lee certainly kicked some butt in this movie.
She sure did.
Yeah, it was. And like I said, in the dialogue too. I mean, the dialogue plot, it's a horror movie. You can't expect, Academy Awards winning stuff here. But I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. What do you think, April? What are you going to rate this one?
I'm going to rate this movie. I hate to do this, but I'm going to give it a 2.5 just because I was.
What?
I know. I just was not happy with something that happened.
Mike Myers might come for you, April.
I know. But with that being said, other than that, yes, it was great. And Jamie Lee, rock on.
Okay. We are completely split on this one, apparently. You could kick a field goal through our scores on this one. For me, this was a 4. I was
a 4?
A 4, yes, absolutely. I was thoroughly entertained with this one. I had goose pimples at the beginning of the movie when I heard the music, and
my!
For a horror movie, it wasn't bad. Like I said, there was no gratuitous gore in this movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Wow!
What do I keep saying, April? I like to be entertained.
Okay.
I was entertained with this movie.
Well, I guess maybe, I don't know what it is. I'm just see it differently, but I'm glad I went. I wouldn't have missed it. And there was a lot of it that I did enjoy, but I had to rate it that because of something truly silly.
Yeah, that was a silly plot point. I'm going to agree with you. We're not going to spoil it for you.
No, we're not.
You guys will know what we're talking about. But for me, that didn't take away from the movie. It's a horror movie. You have to suspend belief.
Wow. Tim has given Halloween a 4.
Absolutely.
Well, I think you should go and see it, support it, and keep going to the movies.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening to us. We really appreciate it. And please, if you're ever in Atlanta, please go by the Springs Cinema and Tap House. That's our home theater. It's a great place to see a movie. It's what independent movie theaters should be. And
with those heated seats and cold seats, it's the only theater in the state of Georgia.
Yes, now that it's wintertime, it'll keep your bum warm.
That's right. They have amazing seats, and it's an amazing place, so go there.
And if you haven't already done so, please go out to hesaidshesaiedmovies.com/subscribe and subscribe to the podcast. It's absolutely free. Thank you so much, and we'll see you at the movies.
We'll see you at the movies, and thanks again for your support.